if we read that word problem and we were to look at, we wanted to find out, the question is, how much more food does the blue whale eat than the humpback whale each day? So we would take those two numbers, and which number goes on the top? The larger number, and stack them by place value, and then we would subtract. All right, so I want you to tell your neighbor, why is it important to compute the difference?
It is important to compute the difference.
Lincoln. Okay, did anyone have an answer that was not like mine? Raise your hand if you had one that was not like mine. Do you have a different reason, Barbara?
The question seems to compute the sum of the numbers, because you might need it in real life.
You might need it in real life. Very nice job. Okay, let's move on. Put your finger at the top for me, please. Let's read together. 1, 2, 3, read. To compute the difference of whole numbers, you subtract the smaller number from the larger number after lining the numbers up by place value. Now, I want you to get your pencil out, and I want you to find that word smaller. And I want you to make a small little circle above it. Check your neighbor, make sure they did it. Now, I want you to find the word larger. Put a large circle above that word. Check your neighbor, make sure they did that. Lining the numbers up by place value. We know that as a different term. We know that we are going to stack them. So I want you to underline lining the numbers up by place value. Underline that phrase. Lining the numbers up by place value. Check your neighbor, make sure that they underline them. And then I want you to put the word stack as a reminder to yourself. That means I have to stack them. Lincoln? Panthers. All right, eyes on me. All right, now we need to go through and we need to compute the difference of whole numbers. So we're going to start with step 1. The first thing we have to do is we have to stack them. That's my first rule. I want to look at my problem. Let's read this together. Number 1, 8,978 subtract 2,465. All right, so I know that I have to line those up by the place value or stack them. So I'm going to do that. So I have my problem lined up according to place value. I want you to put your finger on step 1. We're going to read it together. 1, 2, 3, read. Starting from the ones column, compare the digits in the ones column. A, if the bottom digit is greater than the top digit, then regroup. Step B says subtract the numbers in this column. All right, so the first thing I had to do was stack them. And then step 1 says that I'm going to compare the digits in the ones column. And I have to look at the bottom digit, 5, and it is smaller than the 8. So I don't have to regroup. All I need to do is step B is subtract. 8 subtract 5 is 3. Okay? Now I'm going to move over. We're going to go to step 2. Let's read step 2 together. Put your finger on it. 1, 2, 3, read. Repeat step 1 for each column moving to the left. So we just have to go back and do what we did for each one of those columns moving over. All right, so I'm going to look at the bottom digit is 6. It's smaller than 7, so all I have to do is subtract. 7 subtract 6 is 1. Next step is just move over. 4 is smaller than 9, so I can subtract. 9 subtract 4 is 5. Move over to the next column. 2 is smaller than 8, so I can subtract. So the answer is 6. So let's read the difference together. 6,513. All right, I want you to turn to your neighbor. I want you to tell them, how did I know if I needed to regroup? Lincoln.